Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, a channel that is not going to talk about Kill Team, even though that's what I normally talk about. But if you watch me for Kill Team, but I'm not talking about Kill Team, I'm talking about Dawn of War 4. You might not know, but I am a gamer. So I'm really into Dawn of War, okay? Most people are. If you're in Warhammer now, chances are you have almost certainly played Dawn of War. Now, I don't have a huge amount to say. I'm just going to read this article to you, and then I'm going to look at what we might expect from it, and flesh out 8 minutes worth of content because I want to talk about Dawn of War. There you go. And I've got a channel for it. So first things first, are the races picked? These are different to the other races that we've had before. Obviously, we've had Dawn of War 1, 2, 3, plus all expansions for such, and then Dawn of War 4. But the core has always been Marines, Elves, Orcs. Oh, who else? There's more, isn't there? There's definitely more. Anyway, moving on. But they're not doing that this time. In this time, we get the Blood Raven still. So obviously, we're getting the Marines back. We're getting the original chapter, the Blood Ravens. We're still getting the Orcs, but this time we're getting the Necrons, which makes sense. That's a different kind of a different vibe, a different Xenos race. But we're also getting the Adeptus Mechanicus. That's a take. That's a take. I'm really curious as to why they've gone with the AdMech. If I'm honest, especially since the AdMech and the Necrons are a very interesting foil to each other, I suppose we could say. Anyway, before we mull that over and ponder the orb on that one, let's just have a quick read just so that we know what we're talking about here. So it's brought to you by Deep Silver. That's the publisher. We don't care about that. That doesn't tell us anything. A publisher can publish good or bad games. And King Art Games. Talk about them in a moment, don't worry. The epic Warhammer 40,000 RTS is returning to its mass battle base building roots with deeply satisfying gameplay and a brutal expanded sync kill system. This is them telling us that they're not doing Dawn of War 2. Dawn of War 2 focused much more heavily on hero units, and there was in essence no base building. There was in the multiplayer a little bit, but it was very limited. We are looking much more, and there's a trailer here. If you click on the trailer, you can see what's going on. I think that they're harkening back to Dawn of War 1 much more than 2. Dawn of War 3 was a little bit of a hybrid. I played a lot of Dawn of War 3. I played the campaign. I've never been into the multiplayer of any of the Dawn of Wars, to be clear. I liked all of them, even Dawn of War 3. Dawn of War 3 looked very pretty. It had an army painter. This has to have an army painter. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be annoyed, I'll tell you that much. But when it comes to the kind of the skirmish, the solo, the multiplayer, I've never played any of them. I believe that is the area that people didn't like Dawn of War 3. So I never experienced it. There you go. All good. With that said, they've put a number to the campaign here. Fight through 70 plus campaign missions, solo or with a friend, as you experience a story written by Black Library author John French. Immerse yourself in endlessly replayable modes, including Last Stand skirmish, and take the fight to the world with intense multiplayer combat. 70 plus campaign missions means that that's a lot of missions. And I have just like 3 days ago finished replaying Warcraft 3 and of course Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos and Frozen Throne. It has been amazing. It has been such a replay delight, honestly. I would still recommend it. It holds up today, not even nostalgia based. 70 missions. It's a lot of missions. Warcraft 3 holds up because it's so narratively intertwined, and some of the missions are honestly really small. Dawn of War is going full scale combat, and that makes me think we're going to get a lot of perhaps filler missions where they just say you get a little intro with two unmoving characters saying, oh, let's kill that base, and then you just fight a skirmish game in essence. I'm like, that's not going to be enough. Now, with that said, they've got some screenshots here which are nice. I do like screenshots, jolly good. Let's go have a quick look at Iron Harvest. So if you haven't played Iron Harvest, this is the most similar game that King Art Games has produced, and it is very similar. In fact, if you've played, so I played Iron Harvest, I didn't finish the campaign, but it was kind of what I just said. There's a little bit of a narrative, a little bit of an intro as you get into the mission, but then in essence you just stomp through the mission with some big robots and you kill stuff, which is fine, but that's basically a skirmish. If you're telling me there's 70 plus missions, I don't know. I'm dubious, that's all I'm saying. Very briefly, this is what it all looks like behind me here. It looks absolutely lovely, you know, like check this out. I'm excited for it just for this. As I say, I hope there's an army builder, that'd be sweet. That's the publisher, ignore that. Dawn of War 1 seems to be what they're harkening back to, as I say. Like, again, if you go and watch this for yourself, it legitimately looks like, once you get past the cinematic, which I'll complain about in a moment, it does just seem like they've gone ahead and basically just copied Dawn of War 1. Look at this. Right? This looks sweet. I'll play the hell out of this. It's so strange to see AdMech on the screen as well. Dawn of War 1, that's basically what they're going for. Obviously, we've just had the definitive edition of Dawn of War 1 re-release, I guess, which I have not played, but I bought, obviously, and I intend to play it very soon. Dawn of War 2, they really changed the formula a lot. I liked it. I thought it was still a great game. I played a lot of it. These bros right here, amazing. But it's a very different game. Dawn of War 3 returned to its roots. I know people don't like to think that. They like to just look at Dawn of War 3 and say it sucked. But look at some of these screenshots. This was basically what they are saying they're going to give us now with Dawn of War 4. And I think a lot of people are, perhaps rightly, a touch concerned. I wasn't until I saw 70 plus missions. There you go. Once I saw 70 plus, I thought, they're just going to make me do loads and loads of skirmish games, but call it a campaign, aren't they? With that said, you know, perhaps I'll give them another shake, and this isn't coming out until 2026 at some point, so maybe if I have time I'll play Iron Harvest again, refresh my mind on what exactly this developer has done before. Certainly when I was playing Iron Harvest, I wasn't even really linking it to 40k, I was linking it far more to War Machine, a similar but, you know, kind of World War I, World War II themed fantasy skirmish game, or army game, tabletop game. And I was, you know, it's very, very similar in certain aspects of that. But perhaps I could look through this and say, oh yeah, actually, I see where they're going with it. I'm going to be really scared if they just give us a bunch of... It's in the same style as Company of Heroes, of course, who are also the people that did Dawn of War, which is why it's in a similar style. Just hope they go with... You know what it is. I've just been so blown away by my replay of Warcraft 3 that I struggle to imagine myself liking any other RTS at the moment. I'm sure it could happen, but my god, Warcraft 3 was a masterpiece. It still holds up today. Yeah, there you go. That's all I've got to say. Anyway, cool. I'm actually really excited for the races though. I like Xenos. I like elves. That's very cool. But I also like Necrons. You can't see it because it's just off the green screen here, but I've got a Necron army right there. I've got a Space Marine army right next to them. I'm very excited for Necrons. I have an AdMech army sat upstairs. I think it'll be really, really interesting if they do the narrative correctly, having those three factions. Orcs are just there, right? Like, I like orcs too, don't get me wrong, but narratively, orcs are just there. You might as well have Tyranids, who in my opinion are a little bit cooler, but orcs are there. I guess they felt they had to because they were part of the original Dawn of War 1 kind of cinematic, a little bit iconic in that regard. Yeah, there you go. But again, narratively, orcs might as well not be there. I'm sure, what are they going to do? Oh, we like fighting. Oh, okay, all right. Good narrative. Well done. Well done. Orcs are always winning, as they say. Whereas you can get some really interesting stuff going with the AdMech and the Necrons. That's super cool. Cool, right. I'm not going to talk about this again. Or if I do, it'll be on another channel. If I start a computer game channel, I'm not covering more Dawn of War here. But this is just very exciting. I'm excited. There you go. All right. Thank you. Bye.